So, Factorio 0.16 just dropped, and it's got some updates. Let's go over them. So the first major feature is that they have added a logistics buffer chest, which is this like green one here. So the previous 4 buffer chests were your passive, your active, your requester, and your storage chest. So what the buffer chest actually works as is a combination between a passive provider and a requester chest. So before, what you would need to do is, and I've got it up here, I've made a little circuit wizardry. So what you would do is you would get a requester chest, request say your 50 inserters. You would then get them placed into a passive provider via a stack inserter, but you would then have to read the amount that was in the stack inserter and, for higher accuracy, what was being held by the stack inserter itself. So you need to read what's in the passive provider, what's been held by the stack inserter, put that through into a combinator, tell it how much you want, then negative the amount of inserters, and then set that as the request or the box. So as soon as you start getting some in there, this is set down to a 25 request. Because there's 25 already in there, you only want 50, so it's a 25 request, and as soon as they get used, it's a 50. There you go. So it stops requesting it. But now all you need to do is literally click on this, set that to 50, and it'll request them, and the robots can then use this as a provider as well. So the reason that this is needed is because a requester chest, if you just request 50, then all that will happen is that chest will store 50 and robots can't use it of a requester chest, which is why you need the provider chest, which is why you then need this, because if you don't have this, then what happens is the robots will bring the 50 to the requester chest, then it'll be moved from the requester chest into the provider chest, and then instantly transported from the provider chest back into the requester chest. That still happens, but eventually you'll get to the point where there's 50 in this loop, and then it'll stop. So this was inefficient, but it worked. But now we've got something perfect, the buffer chest. So you've probably been looking at all of these wagons on the back of my trains and being like, Stadio, what the heck is that? And these are the artillery wagons. So the artillery wagons, much like the artillery turret, is a long-range cannon that will shoot bases. But not only does it do that, it also does it automatically. So I've loaded up all of these with artillery shells, and we're going to go and take it out. We're going to go to Apers, which is the just the default name that was given, and we'll show this. So I've made this beautiful little train journey here that is showing off some of the next update we're going to look at, but we'll show that off in a second. So you've got these artillery wagons, and these will, as you see, automatically aim at the biter bases that were here. So the next place to go is, let's go to, you can see them just literally just taking out, as soon as they stop, they'll take out all of the bases around them. So it's such an amazing way just to stop any little biter bases from gathering up and kind of taking over the areas. So let's grab a couple more and we'll just fill these up. Now you can just see how they absolutely decimate everything, and they also explore the map as they go. So you can just see, like, all that's left is the biters, but they're just absolutely wrecking. It's actually phenomenal. Alright, so the next update you will probably have already noticed as we were driving around on the train, but it's these cliffs that are actually, they impede movement. So not only will your character be find it impossible to move between them, but also the biters. So you can use it for strategic points and defenses, and it also adds, I don't know, a bit of life to the game. I mean, Factorio was always really flat, and Factorio's always been 2D. But with this, I feel like it adds a bit of topography to everything, and I don't know, it just makes it a bit nicer. It gives a bit more character. But if you don't like the cliffs and you're like, I mean, my mega base is going to get in the way of my bus, and then you can do, let me find it, you can do this, and drop a cliff explosive, and just blow them to bits, because that's what everyone loves. The next update that came in 0.16 is the fact that you can visualize train blocks now. So if I select a rail signal, you can see how these different blocks are actually constructed when you place the different rail signals down. And that should be able to help people who aren't quite sure or don't quite understand how train signals work when you're using a block-based system like this. So each of these blocks can contain one train, and that just helps people visualize, which is something that's really awesome, and I wish it was in the game a lot earlier. It would have really helped with people understanding trains and how things work. And obviously this isn't the best train line to demonstrate it, but you can see where one block starts and the other one stops. Where one block stops, another one starts. I'm saying it backwards, but you get what I mean. So another cool little addition that has been added is that, as you can see with the buffer chest here, we've got a logistics request amount of 50 inserters. So as of before 0.16, you were able to grab a blueprint of this, place it down, and revive it with a buffer chest, and it'll have the requester amount, which, yeah, that was cool. But now what you can do is you can place your blueprint down of this, and say you're like, oh, I want that, but I just want a request for 50. You can place a requester chest down, and that will have the same logistics request. So if it can have a like for like, then it will populate things like that. So if it can have the same settings, then it will. For example, if you're using different levels of assembly machines. So if I drop an assembly machine 1 and say that I want to craft stone furnaces in it, and I grab a blueprint of this and place it down, and then instead drop an assembly machine 3 on top of it, that'll still grab the stone furnaces out of it. So just a little neat addition just to help you with your workflow a bit. Another update comes in the form of the train schedules. So right now, if you're adding a couple of things and you're wanting it to go to home until its inventory's full, and then you want to go to Hong Kong until it meets the circuit condition, you're like, oh no, but I want it to go home after Hong Kong. You literally just mouse down and drag. How nice is that? That's so good. And it also works with different conditions as well. So you can move the conditions around. You make it or a full cargo inventory and full cargo inventory. So you can just drag all of that stuff around. It's very intuitive. You want that a bit lower, you want it a bit higher, just drag it around, sorted. Another nice addition to 0.16 is the fast replacement of belt, underground belt, and splitters. So in the past you had to use a mod to do this, but now you can do it just as you like. So right now, say we've got this two-lane transport belt here, but we want an offshoot. Say we're taking a split from this to go from our main bus to come down here, basically. So before what we'd need to do is delete place, whereas now fast replace, turn that down, underground, sorted. No need to remove belts, you just fast replace over it and the game sorts it all out for you. Perfect. Make sure you balance your lanes. So another nice little addition is what you're seeing here, is that they've added new transitions when it comes to terrain to water. So before, we used to have an issue where you'd place terrain, but you could only place it up till about here. And then you always had to have this little adjoining section where it was dirt next to water. Whereas now you can build it straight on the water, and they've got these really nice, I really like this, the little brick bit that you can see it goes down into the water. We've got really nice transitions coming in now. All we need is some better water and then we can be sorted. Another nice little quality of life improvement comes when you are typing into text boxes. So if you're typing something and say you want an insert, say you want a filter inserter, there we go, and you want to take away the word inserter, you can go to the start of the word and hit Control Delete, and there you go, that's the full inserter word. So you can choose if you want to fill a water barrel with the word filter, even though that makes no sense to me whatsoever. But example complete. Go to the start of the word, Control Delete, deletes the entire word. A little bit of a workflow help, but other than that, it's quite neat to have. Another nice little addition is when you're trying to place items back onto a belt and you are using the Z key. What used to happen is once the belt was completely and utterly full, I've moved it, and you used to keep hitting the Z key, what would happen is your items would, I'd be better just placing it on here, your items would overflow off of the belt and onto the ground, and then you would have to go and pick them up, and it was an absolute nightmare. Whereas now, it all stays, as long as your mouse stays on the belt, it all stays perfectly on the belt. So you can spam to your heart's content and it'll always just place on the belt until the belt is full. Another neat little ease of use comes in when you have your controls or your hotkeys. So if you've got, say you've got a lot of different mods and there's a lot of hotkeys that either you don't use or you're like, oh, that hotkey is just useless, like there's a button for that, why would I need a hotkey? Then all you need to do is right click the hotkey and it turns it to not set, which was never possible before. You used to have to make it like, I'll just use that hotkey as Control Alt Shift P, something that I'm never likely to choose whatsoever. Another small but nice update is the ability to now wire up change signals, which wasn't possible in the past, so you can now change the different outputs that change signals give. And then you can use those outputs to do a variety of different things. So instead of only being able to use basic block rail signals, you can now use chain signals as well. Another small quality of life improvement again is something that I know that I have been lobbying for a long time, and that is the ability to fast replace light electric poles with medium electric poles or small electric poles. What the heck are these called? The wooden ones. Small electric poles. Wooden electric poles are what I normally call them, but you can now fast replace wooden electric poles with medium electric poles and vice versa, which is just something that we needed so long ago. I mean, you still can't do it with the big ones, but I mean, they take up 4 space, so, and you're probably not going to use them the same way as you're using mediums, but oh my god, such a much needed improvement. Thank you. Another small but awesome update that I unfortunately can't display right now is that in multiplayer, players can now ride as passenger in tanks and cars. So you can like jump in a car and be taken somewhere else without the need to build like 2 cars or without someone to say, oh well, follow me. You just jump in it, wee passenger. So hyped for this. This is something that, once again, I mean, I've made a lot of suggestions and a lot of complaints and whined quite a lot about different bits and bobs in Factorio, and it's just nice to see things like this that I've talked about so much actually being implemented in the game, and it's great to see. Another small quality of life improvement is the fact that if you're trying to build an offshore pump now, it actually highlights every possible location that you can place that offshore pump without you having to hunt around and be like, oh, can I place one up there? Oh, there must be some. No, there's not. Absolutely incredibly useful little quality of life improvement, but such a great one. Such a great one. The next little update is that after desyncing from a multiplayer game, the game will not automatically connect you back, causing what we called a desync loop, where you basically held up the server because it was constantly trying to reconnect you for you to desync, to reconnect you, to desync, to reconnect you. Most server owners got over this by saying, no, you literally cannot reconnect, you'll just get booted. But now the game will not automatically connect back. Instead, you're going to get a dialogue with more information. For example, your PC couldn't keep up, or your connection was slow, or whatnot. And that is going to be so great, and I can't wait to see exactly what that dialogue shows, because right now I'm kind of just speculating, but that seems like the most obvious stuff, the best reasons that it would show you. So incredibly happy for that, especially for when doing large multiplayer stuff. So the next few things are actually in the generation window. So right now we are on the map generator. So one of the new settings that is available, and if I can see it, is trees. So you can now set how many trees you want, which is great to see, because fuck trees. And the next cool little advancement is that you can now generate a preview of what your map's going to look like. So instead of you just generating the map and then popping straight into the game and then being like, okay, how's that look? You can just generate the map and be like, oh yeah, I like that. Oh, it's a nice. I like that we're going to be starting in the desert biome, and there's some trees around here. There's a nice bit of water there. Oh, but there's a cold patch there. It's kind of eaten by that water. Let's regenerate it. So without having to go into the game, you can see from a glance exactly what you're going to be dealing with. Right there, it's like, oh, I don't really fancy being in a desert that far away from any greenery. I prefer to play in a greener map. Let's regen. Oh, that's much better. We've got a nice green map, massive ore patches, nice bit of water. Can put my main bus down. Know what I mean? It's so nice to be able to just be like, oh, preview of a map. Sweet. We'll do that instead. But that's pretty much all I've got for the patch notes for version 0.16. So do let me know in the comments below what you think about this latest big numerical update of Factorio, and how much you're going to enjoy blown up biter bases as much as I am with that new artillery train. But as always, I've been Steejo, you've been awesome, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.